What's going on, everybody? This is DeLon Morrow, back again with another episode of the Mind of a Filmmaker podcast, where we break stories down like directors and geek out like fans. And today, we are about to break down this piece of art here, aka my godmother, aka Farrah from P Valley. We got Shamika Cotton in the building. What's going on?
Hi, Daylon. I am so glad to finally be here for Mind of a Filmmaker podcast. I'm finally here on the couch, in the building, in the studio.
Yeah.
Here.
Tall money.
So we do it. Yeah.
All right, so since this is your first time and hopefully not your last.
Well, okay. Well, won't be.
It won't be. Okay. So we're just going to talk. So I've always wanted to interview you as the celebrity you are. I tried to look you up online. I looked up all Cincinnati, famous people from Cincinnati. Your face wasn't there. That's the messed up part about it. Right?
How, Sway? But where did you look at? Like, where did you find? Like, who came up?
It was a lot of people. It's a couple wrestlers, actresses.
Actresses. I'm just curious to see if it's my classmates.
Well,
Gabrielle Dennis.
Yeah, Gabrielle Dennis.
Napier Groves.
No.
Okay, well, with Napier. Okay. Drew and Nick Lachey, right?
Yes.
They came up. Okay. Alton Fitzgerald from Broadway. Did he come up? See, they don't have everybody.
They don't have everybody. It's
you
like a
look,
lot of
you
like
know what I
social
mean?
media people too. People
Yeah.
from like
Oh,
current
very
social
good.
media time and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I knew I seen them around, but I just
Yeah.
didn't know who they really were. But enough about me and in my work. It's all about you today. So first off, I've heard that you are a girl of two cities,
Well,
Cincinnati and Cleveland. Is that correct?
yes, I was born in Cleveland, but raised in Cincinnati. So I spent a lot of times going back and forth on the holidays.
Okay.
But yeah, my mom, she moved to Cincinnati when I was probably around 3 years old.
Okay.
So my dad is still in Cleveland. And so all of my family is in Cleveland. Like my grandma was in Cleveland, my cousins, my aunties and stuff. So Cleveland was always very special to me. And yeah, I always loved to go and visit and hang out with my family.
So I'm not sure. I've heard stories from my mother about you guys growing up and everything. But can you put a finger on when you were interested with like the art specifically?
Okay, that's such a great question. You know, in elementary school, I always wanted to do like extracurricular things. Like in the fourth grade, I started learning how to play the flute. Shout out to Mr. Klein. That was my first music teacher. I can't believe I remember his name.
What elementary school did you go to?
I went to Hartwell Elementary School.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's still over there on Vine, I believe. Is that the street? Something like. Or,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fourth grade, but even before then, my mom put me into like ballet and tap, like anything that I wanted to do. My mom supported me and found programs for me, and but it wasn't until I believe it might have been the fourth or the fifth grade. We took a field trip to go see a production at the School for the Creative and Performing Arts. And that year, they were doing the musical Oliver Twist. And I think this might have been my first experience with going to the theater. And so, you know, you go on the field trip and you go to this school, and I saw those kids who looked like me. They were just kids up there having fun. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to go to this school, right? And so that's when things really started to shift for me, because originally I was supposed to go to CBA, Cincinnati Bilingual Academy, with your mom.
Right.
Because I was supposed to study Spanish and she was doing German.
Right.
But I said, I'm going to go to performing arts. And so I asked my mom to sign me up for the audition. And once I auditioned, I got in. So all from that field trip in elementary school, having that exposure. Before that, I didn't know that kids did that or that it was possible to do more and to have an education in it. So yeah, that's how it started.
That's how it started. Okay. So then you did say that you did go to SCPA, or you got in.
Yes, I did.
You did.
I attended from the 6th grade through the 10th grade.
Okay. Because I was like, wait a minute. If you went to Withrow with my...
I graduated from Withrow.
You graduated from Withrow.
Yes.
Okay.
I went to Withrow for my 11th and 12th grade.
Okay, cool.
Graduated from Withrow.
And so then, I guess, did you still have that bug after you graduated from Withrow, or did it like kind of subside a little bit?
That's a great question, because when I was at Performing Arts, all we did was the arts. Like, you couldn't have any other extracurriculars. That was your life, right? It's a very rigorous program.
Yeah.
It really sets you up to work professionally in the industry.
Yeah.
And also, you couldn't have like a job or nothing. And at that time, yes, all my friends had a job. Angel had a job. Angel been having a job since she was like 14 years old.
Yeah, and I heard the story.
I want to, know what my friends are doing.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, well, can I change schools? And so Mom let me change schools, but it still was an advanced placement program. I was a part of the International Baccalaureate program at Withrow. And so I transferred to that program, which focused more on academics. Now, trust, the arts, I've always been a creative person.
Right.
The arts have always been in me, but at that time in my life, I was focusing on academics. And that is where I discovered that I was good in math.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And I always loved like chemistry and experiments and stuff like that. So that's where I started to get my interest in math and science and things like that.
Yeah.
And that is also when I figured that I was going to go to college. Because when I was at Performing Arts, even though I was there until the 10th grade, I wasn't thinking about college or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that example. But when I went to Withrow and I was hanging out with Angel and our friends, and they were college minded, so I was like, well, shoot, I want to go to college like my friends, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, what can I study? Because at the time, even though I went to Performing Arts, right, I did not know that it was possible to pursue it professionally. I thought it was just like a special cool school I went to, but I didn't know that there was another step after that school. Now, there were people there who did know this, but because of my neighborhood and my environment, I didn't know that it was anything more than just school. So when I went to Withrow, then my mind was opening up about college. And then I realized, well, okay, I can go to college for something where I can use my math and science. And at the time, they wanted to attract people of color, and especially women, to engineering. And so I thought engineering would be a good mix for my passion for creating and also using my math. I thought I was going to do chemical engineering at first, but I took a trip to Kentucky State University. And I saw exactly, yes, the birthplace of Dayline, the conception place of Dayline. So I went to Kentucky State University. I saw their labs for chemical engineering, and I was like, that seems like a snooze fest for me. I've always been a person that likes and needs to do more active things and hands-on things. And so I switched to mechanical, which ended up becoming manufacturing engineering, which is a combination of mechanical, electrical, and industrial. And then I went to Central State University. But my focus shifted when I went to Withrow. But spoiler alert, it came back my junior year. So yes.
Hold on, wait. So you went to Central. Did you go to? You didn't go to Alabama, right?
Yes. So my
I was about to say, I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you. Okay, yeah. So Alabama, yeah.
Yeah, you I got all these bits and pieces
Yes.
that I know, but I don't know exactly how they
come
together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my first year, my freshman year, I went to Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama. You know your Auntie Keisha child?
Exactly, yeah.
So we all went down to Alabama State. And I thought that they had just a full engineering program, but they had like a 2-3 program. and I was homesick as well. And so I decided to come back home. And then I was like, Central State University has a full engineering program. And so that's where I found my place. And I did the rest of my 4 years and graduated from Central State University.
And so then, I'm not sure how this came to be or whatever. When was that switch and it was like, I like the art, that's cool, but I really want to get into acting specifically.
Yeah.
So like when did you just like, okay, I'm about to go to when did New York come to?
Dude, you get in the stories, so many things. So, I just go back just a little bit.
Okay.
So I was a part of this really special program called Inroads. And Inroads was a program that we participated in high school that started to teach you how to get a job once you got out of high school. How do you show up in corporate America, giving you exposure and preparing you. How do you interview? How do you dress? Really getting us prepared to enter the business world. And so from that, I had an internship. And I interned at this company called Ralston Purina Company. So I would spend the summers in Davenport, Iowa, interning with them. Yes.
Iowa.
Yeah.
Man.
Godmother has lived. Okay?
Man.
Has
Okay.
lived, all right?
Yeah.
So I would spend summers there. I think I spent like 3 summers there. And I needed things to do to fill my time, you know, when I wasn't at work. And so one thing I did was I volunteered at this youth program teaching JA and just showing up for the kids. And
What's JA? What does that stand for?
Junior Achievement.
Okay.
And it's a program that's available in different schools where it teaches entrepreneurial skills to kids in school.
Okay, yeah.
So do you know about JA?
No.
You heard about JA?
No, this is my first time hearing about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably had something around like the area of JA or what you had probably in Purcell. But I think since I only did like 2 years at Purcell, I couldn't really get into, I guess, that part of my high school career just yet. 'Cause I'm pretty sure they probably do that like sophomore and junior senior year.
Oh, really? Wow.
Probably. It's been that long, but yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's also through certain organizations. Like you can have an organization and have a JA club because there were little kids in it too. They were learning like this is, you know, if we're going to sell candy, this is how you count money and all these kinds of things. You can start learning business skills at any age. So yeah.
What I was going to add was I was a part of a organization. Actually, now that you bring that up, it was called Leadership Scholars Program.
Similar kind of program.
And so it was kind of like it taught us how to operate in the business. Okay, so yeah, so that was pretty much JA, but it wasn't necessarily in, I guess, high school. It was actually, for me specifically, it was in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, like that area. I think when I was in 8th grade, that was when they zoned in on you. I think 6th or 7th, that's when they introduced us to that whole program by having kids from, I think, high school. So like, I think when I first got introduced to it, it was, I think, Roger Bacon, kids from Roger Bacon, and I forget the other school, but they would all come to our middle school, Prince of Peace, what was Prince of Peace at the time. They would just talk to us, hey, we're a part of this program, Leadership Scholars, this is what we do, blah, blah, blah. And it would be like every Thursday, I think, if I remember correctly. And so I graduated out of there. I think that it is still Leadership Scholars, but I think it's more targeted to the parents instead of the kids now.
Okay,
I think, yeah. That's what I looked up. That's what the last time I looked it up. It was mainly about the parents, not the kids. Which is kind of different, but I definitely understand because, you know, you have to teach the parents too if they weren't even taught that whole situation. But yeah.
Yeah. So all kinds of different leadership development programs.
Yeah.
Which I know we're going to get to it, which is why T3IP was so important for me to begin.
Yes.
So we'll come
back to that, yes.
So I would go to Iowa, and so I worked with the kids in Rock Island, And then there was a summer where I was taking acting classes on the side. And then also I was a part of a pool league because, I love to shoot pool. So those were the kinds
We'll
of
get
things.
into that farther down the line.
Yeah. So those were the kinds of things that I like to do to fill my time because I always have to be doing something because I don't like being bored. I'm just not going to be bored. And so one summer I was at the plant and I used to wear, we had to wear a bump cap and steel-toe boots because part of the program we would be in the office, right, the corporate side, but across the parking lot was the actual factory where they made the cat and dog food. And so you have to wear safety equipment when you go into the factory. And so I remember standing in the break room in the office building, looking across the parking lot, and this thought came to me, there's got to be more than this. No shade to anyone that, that has a job. I was on track for a wonderful career as in engineering management because I was an engineering management intern. But I remember distinctly hearing and having this conversation with, there's got to be more to life than this. And I think that was like the first memory of me hearing the voice saying, okay, we're about to do something different. And so when I got back to school, because I had started off at Alabama State, I was wrapping up the engineering program a little bit earlier because I had some credits that I had already gotten. And so then I started saying, well, I've got some free time to take some other classes. So I took a theater class at Central State University. And then two of my sorority sisters, they graduated.
What sorority are you?
Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, right? The distinguished ladies of Delta Sigma Theta. And so they graduated a year before me, and they got into this really prestigious program called the NBC Page Program. And that program operates out of 30 Rock in New York.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the show, the TV show. Yeah.
And so some of the characters on there, they were portraying pages.
Okay,
and they would do the tours around the building.
Yeah.
And they would help out at the different shows. So two of my line sisters got accepted into that program.
Cool. Okay.
And so the Christmas break before I graduated, I went to visit them in New York. It was over.
So what was this? What, like 99, 98, maybe?
I gotta put my business down.
No, I'm trying to. No, I'm not trying to.
No, I'm just joking. I don't care. Hey, I don't care. It's fine.
But Black Tone.
So you want to know what year? So that was 98 going into 99 because it's the Christmas before I graduated, and I graduated in 99.
Okay, yeah.
And so I went to visit Tracy, my sons Tracy and Fawn, and it was such a very special time because New York and Christmas time is a very, very special and magical period. But to be at 30 Rock at that time and being able to go watch SNL taping and to see them doing the preparations at NBC Studios for the tree lighting ceremony, it was such a special and magical time. So I was there and I had an inside behind the scenes look at that. And I was just mesmerized by the city. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to move here after I graduate. And I'm going to try it out and see what happens because the acting and the artist bug was coming back.
That glow that I was talking about. That was your glow right there. Just gonna interrupt.
Why did you even answer the phone call during an interview? You should just let it go to voicemail. Anyway, but that was great.
Okay. My next question. Okay, so I have a question. With your whole background, being an actress and stuff like that, and now I'm starting to see you working behind the scenes, which one would you prefer to do more, acting in front or behind the scenes?
Okay, that is a fantastic question because my original answer, the first thing that comes to mind for me is being in front of the camera, right? Because I structured my company and the internship program so that I can have work created for me to be in, right? When we talk about the things that my company, 1010 Talent and Creative Services, does, the projects that I am now executive producing and finding more projects to greenlight is also a way for me to figure out how to be in front, provide ways for me to be in front of the camera.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
find my own projects. But there is something so special about also being behind the scenes and creating opportunities for people, and being able to have more control over the stories I get to tell and how I get to tell it. Ooh. So I really thought that my answer would be being in front of the camera. And maybe I think it still is. I think it still is, but I think I am a person that I am left and right brain, right? I still have that business mind and that engineering mind that loves to do the behind the scenes stuff. But ideally, I would love it if I had my team just tell me where to show up on set. I got the script, but a part of me is still going to be like, so how does shot look? I still have that producer and director side.
She almost produced the whole podcast.
I know. It's hard to turn it off. But I love, and I've had way more experience over the 26 years being in the industry, being in front of the camera. I think I'm entering my phase of really establishing and setting up structure for me to also spend more time behind the camera or in the creative offices and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay. So let's elaborate on T3IP. Just explain what that is, that organization is under your umbrella of power moves you are starting to build.
Yes. So the name of my company is 1010 Talent and Creative Services. And so it is a creative agency where we help brands and entrepreneurs and businesses tell stories to help reach their audiences or reach their consumers. It's a talent-centered creative agency. So basically, the stuff that I'm creating for clients are vehicles for me to be in those things for them as well. So with that being said, I also created an internship program because I need help. I also need talent to help do the things that we have to do at 1010, but also because I reap the benefits of being in an internship program, and I know how important being in an internship program is and how it changed my very experience, even as an actor. Like my day job, what I had the opportunity to do because of the experiences and the jobs that I had as an intern, it set me up to have a whole different experience as a working actor juggling day jobs, right? It provided different opportunities for me. So I created this program called T3IP, which stands for the 1010 Talent Internship Program, T3IP, where we give access, exposure, and mentorship to people wanting to work in the creative landscape. So whether they want to work in front of the camera or behind the camera, or whether they want to work in marketing, there's so many jobs available for creatives. You don't have to be in front of the camera. There are so many ways for you to express creatively in this industry. And so that's what T3IP is all about.
And guess what? I've been a part of it.
Yes, you are a part
I'm
of
a
our
part
first
of it, yeah.
cohort. We had 3 cycles in 2023, and each cycle is 8 weeks. And Daylon, you were in 2 categories. I think the first cycle you were short film and digital media.
Yep.
And then you did your last 2 cycles in the screenwriting category.
There we go. Yeah.
How was it being in the program? Not to turn the tables on.
Oh yeah, no, it's all good.
How was it being in the program?
Well, it's not, since you are my godmother, I'm already the guinea pig to any, film aspect situation that you need me to be in. And so it didn't necessarily feel, any different than us just hanging out, doing film stuff. I think we done made, 2 different And you've helped me with this other project that I've been working on for the past 2 months maybe, if that. So I loved it. I love soaking up information about this industry that I'm very interested in being in a part of. So if you are in the Cincinnati area or wherever you see this T3IP organization, come be a part of it, because you will not be disappointed with the outcome. So stay tuned to hear about the next what's the next class?
The next cycle starts in September.
Also, it's officially starting. Okay.
But guess what? The first cohort, which was the first 3 cycles, you guys did it for free. You guys didn't get paid.
Right. Yeah.
And so this next cohort, they're getting paid.
Right. That's.
We got money coming to.
Oh, she got money.
She got money. Give me my money. Yes. So we've got it so that the interns are going to be paired with corporate sponsors, and they're going to work on 1010 projects, but they're also going to use those gifts and those talents that they cultivate at 1010 to now help the businesses that are partnering with us. And I also want to point out, Daylon, even though we're not doing a cohort right now, Daylon still has his weekly mentoring sessions that we do.
Yes.
Where we come together and he gets mentorship and guidance. And even when you went to Sundance, because what we did in our mentorship meetings every week, it prepared you when you met the filmmakers.
Exactly. That was that whole situation. If you've been listening into the podcast, you know every year, every January for the past 3 years, I've been going to Sundance. And this most recent, recent episode, this year actually, I went up there and I met Rashad Frett, who made Ricky, the short film. He brought it to Sundance as a short. He won that previous year, 2024. He brought it back as a full length, and he won the best director for for the full length version. And I guess that this was the last week, and I was able to get a picture with him and talk to him and his co-producer and co-writer, and they were just passing off jewels. Start off as a short. I'm like, that's exactly what. Somebody said that to me, and so I'm like, okay, yeah, she wasn't lying about none of that.
Our mother knows a little something.
Yeah, so I think that was a definite blessing for me, because I seen a filmmaker that looked exactly like me, and that inspired me. I try to keep in contact with him, when I can, when he's available. I hit him in the DMs. Hey, what's going on, bro? I really want everybody to see Ricky the full length, because I know everybody has a family member that was in the same boat as Ricky at some point. I'll talk about that in another episode, that specific movie. But back to Miss Cotton. So I know a lot of people, you've been you walk down the street and people will be like, don't I know you from some show? Oh, I know you was sliding down the pole. No.
You tried it. No,
I
but
tried.
No,
but yeah, everybody recognize you right now for the P Valley show. Out of all the roles that you've done over the last maybe decade, I'll say, what was your favorite one?
My favorite one is Vivian on Game Night on Tubi right now.
Plug it. Yeah. Plug it.
Check out Game Night right now
there
on
you go.
Tubi.
Okay.
And so I'll tell you why that was my favorite one, because it's my most recent film.
Right. Yeah.
But it was my first time being number one on the call sheet. It was also my first time having an assistant on set. And that assistant was one of my interns. It was unique.
Okay, yeah.
It was such a very, very special time. She was in the program because she wanted to learn about acting.
Right.
And from being in the program, She came with me in LA. She went to some premieres with me. Then she came to New York and was helping me on set. She came to Cleveland and did the brand shoot in
Oh yeah,
Cleveland.
that's right. That's when y'all had
And so the brand shoot.
oh yeah, because y'all had the
studio.
The studio. Yeah.
Yes,
And y'all just start cranking out different projects and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because of all the things that she learned being in the program and being on set with me, then she went on and made
Did her own project,
made
man.
Her own film production, launched it, got her film Boundaries also on Tubi.
On
right
Tubi,
now.
yes,
She
yes,
got that
yes,
on
yes.
Tubi before me, right? So
Yeah.
T3IP is a powerful program that will set you up and help you get to where you want to be. But yeah, my favorite project, I would have to say is Game Night. It's a very
Game Night,
special
yeah.
place in my heart. Directed by the one and only Tanya Pinkins, Broadway legend, Tony Award winning artist, and then written by Craig Williams, produced by Redwall Productions. People that I have just known for many years since being in the industry. A very special project. And I just love working with everyone, but for me, to finally be able to step up into that leadership role, not just being the lead in the film, but there's a certain responsibility when you are in that position to be that lead and to kind of like hold that space on set.
Yeah.
And so I was so grateful that Tanya asked me to do it. And I said yes, and now we have it on Tubi, and it's doing really great.
Speaking of Tubi, I guess as a now I'm not going to say up and coming. I'm just going to say a as a fellow filmmaker. How do you feel about the state of Hollywood? Like, do you think it's strong? Because I'm like, yes, when you think of movies, you think of LA. But nowadays, it feels like with filmmaking, you can do it anywhere. And that's kind of like, that kind of goes into like the independent aspect. Do you think Hollywood is kind of played out, or do you think it's just as strong as it's ever been for the past multiple decades?
I love the state of the industry right now.
Okay.
Say Hollywood.
Right, yeah.
That's a whole different thing. I love the state of the industry right now because what we have right now is something that we've never had before. We have an even playing ground where everyone has access. Everyone can create content and find their audiences.
There you go. Yeah.
Everybody can gather people and find their collaborators. And not only that, they can make stuff and they can get paid for it, right? We no longer have to wait for the gatekeepers to give us permission.
Oh, yeah.
And this is why I created my company, why I created T3IP, why I am now executive producing, finding projects that I can greenlight, that I can find my own distribution and get paid. We don't have to go to major networks anymore. This is my passion project. This is what drives me every morning when I'm working on my business and creating. I'm excited. I'm inspired. I am empowered. And I think that any creative that embraces this moment and let's go of the old paradigm where it was like, oh, I need one of the main 3 networks to hire me, right? Even, oh, I need Netflix or Apple or Hulu to hire me or to buy my film. You don't need that anymore.
Not at all.
You don't need that. All you got to do is make it, and you can find distribution. Or guess what else you can do? Can you get excited about this?
Yes.
Or what you can do, you create your own network, and people pay to access your own network, right?
Yeah.
I believe Vimeo has something now where you can create your own app and put all of your content up there, and people can rent whatever films you make. Now you're making money from the stuff that you make, right? And the Vimeo platform is the same platform that Criterion Collection uses. So you have access to the very same app and technology. You know Criterion Collection, right?
No, what is that?
Oh, Filmmaker, okay? The Criterion Collection is a collection of films over the past years decades even, that have made a profound impact in the culture, right? It's only a select films that get put into the Criterion Collection that also I think goes into Blu-ray. And these are iconic films. And so
Icon Mon Studios.
hello, see what I did there? Yes. And so if you just go to the Criterion Collection, you'll see the caliber of the films that are there. Special shout out to Pariah, which is a part of the Criterion Collection.
And that made it to Sundance too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it started at Sundance. It started as a short, and then became a feature that I was a part of, and now we're in the Criterion Collection. But that same technology that drives this big company's movie app, you have access to it now with Vimeo. You could also do Uscreen. Like, I'm not plugging any one app, right? But you can make the art, and your art can make money. TikTok is even getting into it now. I'm always telling people about TikTok. You can create your own TV show and create your own brand deals. You can sell your own advertising space on your podcast, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to wait for someone else to make the deals for us. So I won't go on because I can go on forever about it, but I am excited. Now, some people are not excited. They're like, oh, they're still, I need this amount of money. I got to have $100,000 to make a film. And then you spend $100,000 on the film and you're not making any money from that film, right?
Right.
One of the things that we stood by with T3IP was don't wait, create, which is why I had you guys make those short films with just your cell phones.
That was interesting. That was an interesting, what was that, like 2, maybe 3 months, maybe?
I think
for that
about
whole
2 or 3 months to make it.
And then we chopped it down and went in deep detail, about the, I guess, making the trailer and everything else. So yeah, that was definitely an interesting class.
And we made that with just a cell phone.
Yes.
With free Canva.
Yes.
Free CapCut, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, people who have the old paradigm in their mind, they're like, I need all of this special camera equipment. No, you don't.
No.
You can just make stuff with your cell phone and put it up on TikTok and make money. Put it up on Instagram and make money, or put it up on YouTube and make money. So we have so much access, and I'm excited about it.
All right. I got a couple more questions before we wrap up.
Yeah.
So tell me this, right? So you went straight to New York. Have you ever thought about, like, I guess, going West Coast, or like, I guess, what made you? Well, you said that it was the classes in New York that helped you, I guess, solidify yourself in New York. But have you ever, like, I guess, done anything in LA? Well, you did say the content creation and everything.
Right. I went to some premieres and stuff in LA. When I was on I Want to Be a Soap Star.
That was a long time.
That was shot it was a long time ago.
No. What I'm saying,
I'm just joking. I'm just messing with you. Remind me of that Kevin Hart moment. Kevin Hart and Don Cheadle. Right. That was a long time ago. You ain't got to say that. You ain't got to say that, godson. But no, it wasn't. But that was shot in Los Angeles at Prospect Studio.
Okay.
Now, there was a time when I was like, I need to go to Los Angeles because there was more TV and film in LA at one point. But I'll tell you this. I've always been meant to be in LA, in New York. I've always been destined there. As a kid, so funny that we started off talking about going back and forth to Cleveland.
Yeah.
On the road heading to Cleveland from Cincinnati, you get to a place where you start seeing signs that say New York. And I used to always want to be like, can we go that way? Now, I never knew anyone who lived in New York, but I always wanted to go to New York. And maybe it was because of the TV programming and movies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to go there. But I didn't think as a kid, like, I would ever move there. But as things worked out, I ended up going there. And so it seemed like it was always meant for me to live in New York. I absolutely love New York. And then the industry shifted, right?
Yeah.
And now I can live anywhere and still have a thriving acting career. And now that we can create content anywhere, now I really can live absolutely anywhere. But let me tell you something right now. I love New York. I love Brooklyn. Brooklyn is home for me. Although Cincinnati and Cleveland, that's my home and birthplace and things like that. But I've found my place and community, and I love Brooklyn. I love New York.
How do you feel about Cincinnati becoming a budding film city?
I'm here for it. And I'm here to see what I can bring back to my hometown to help cultivate that space. Because I think one of the reasons why I wanted to go to New York was because they had that space there. I didn't, we have performing arts here, but that was it, right?
Right.
So I wanted more. And so now that I went away to New York and lived there, I'm excited to be able to come home now and to create opportunities for those kids or those artists or whomever, whatever age you are, and you want to do more in the arts. I want to come back and share and create spaces here. So I'm excited that Cincinnati is calling for that, and I'm here to help answer that call.
And actually, now that we talk about Cincinnati becoming a budding film city, we were in the running for taking over Sundance. And I know, we've talked about it off air multiple times, and even in our internship meetings or whatever. But now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that would have been a dope look if Cincinnati took it over for the next 7 years. That will bring a lot of energy, like film energy specifically, to Cincinnati and everything. So now that at first I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of downplaying it, but now sitting back up thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, that would have been dope to have that ceremony come to Cincinnati, bring all the big names into the city, give more opportunities for people like me. Because I don't know if, I feel like I talked about it on the podcast previous episodes, but just how dope Sundance is. It brings you closer to the other people that that are like me, like-minded individuals, either wanting to be a part of the industry or just a fan. They are fans that just love movies in general. So yeah.
But you know what? I just want to add to that.
Yeah.
So Cincinnati was in the running, and I don't know what the conversations were that helped them to make their decision.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I think it would be great for Cincinnati to say, okay, we didn't get that this time, but what can we start to cultivate so that the next time something like this comes up, we're ready. And then, or what can we create here to start creating that community here? Maybe there's going to be another film festival that launches in here in Cincinnati that you will also be a part of, because you'll be like, I've gone to Sundance many years now, and I can see this is what we need to structure here to have an experience that is akin to a Sundance.
Right.
So, I think it's all purposeful and intentional, and there is so much potential there.
I've looked up like other film festivals. We have one, but I think it's on a smaller scale. But I feel like, since we have that, we could probably start to hone in on that festival to make it big, just as big as Sundance. So then maybe, in 7 more years, we can bring it to Cincinnati, and we will already be prepared for that big of a festival. So we don't have to have any down players like me to say, Cincinnati's missing something that Sundance didn't have, or that they had that Cincinnati doesn't. And so to add on to the talk of Hollywood, now I'm sure you probably seen it too. AI. How do you feel about AI taking over, I guess, social media and also film, regarding the aspect of post-production, like editing and special effects, and then also pre-productioning, such as, I guess, writing the script and getting the story together?
You see my face? What you think I'm gonna say? I'm excited about it. I am actually. I'm not afraid of technology. And I actually just finished a class with Brick Art Media in Brooklyn that was how to use AI for screenwriting. And one of the screenwriting and film production, so many ways that and we used ChatGPT, we used what is the one that makes the images for you? Sona or something like that.
I think it's Sona something. I forget.
Something like that, right?
Yeah.
We saw different ways that we can use these tools to help make our film production better, right? It's a way for you to start, so you don't start looking at a blank page, right?
Yeah.
And you could use these ChatGPT to even create your production schedule. So ChatGPT and AI tools will be a part of the next cycle of T3IP.
Okay,
because
yeah.
I want them to be equipped to know how to use these tools, not
Properly.
to be afraid, properly,
Yeah.
and not to be afraid of it. I think that what one of the key takeaways from that class I took on screenwriting is that it shows. It used to be who could write the best story, right? And then someone's going to buy that story because it's the best story, and only writers can write this best story. That's like a special skill that had currency. Not taking away from those who are skilled writers, right? But now you're not so unique anymore, right? Because now ChatGPT and other language models equips others to be able to write a story. So now anybody can write a story, right? So that levels the playing field. So now what is key, right? The key is who can actually make it. Who can make it on their own now.
Without it just being, they're just, usually from what I'm seeing now, it's like a lot of people are just putting it into ChatGPT and then running with it. Okay, we're just going to do that. But then now it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to give it to ChatGPT. They'll give us a skeleton.
Yeah.
But then what we need to do is give it the flesh. Give it that grit.
The human touch.
The human touch.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But what I am saying is this. It's all about who can, now you have the script. Everybody's going to have a script now. Okay? Everybody got script.
Yeah.
Now it's who can form the teams around the script to actually get it made, right?
Right.
And then who can find out how to take what you have now made and make money. Because the studios, I'm just sorry to say, we were on strike, both the WGA and the Screen Actors Guild on strike because of some of those items dealing with AI. They're hiring fewer writers now, right? Because they have AI tools, right? Even interns are not getting as many opportunities because those jobs that interns used to do, those jobs like read over this script and make these notes. I could put this script into ChatGPT and say, give me the notes, give me the plot line. Which ones do I want to take to the next step, right? So you have to find out now, where do you fit in, since some of those jobs are now being done by an AI tool. You fit in because you know how to use those AI tools.
Right.
That's where you fit in. And then once you make this art, now you got to have the business mind to say, now how do I get the money from this art that I made? That is going to be the difference. So everybody can make art. It continues to level the playing field. But what is special about what you are doing? Get it made and get paid. Bars.
Tall money.
Tall money, baby.
That's an inside. Tall money is like an inside joke me and her have for our meetings and everything. And so lastly, just to get your intake on, film and everything, do you have your top 5 favorite or guilty pleasure films?
I don't have guilty pleasure films. Because when I think about a film that's like, or anything that's a guilty pleasure, it's something that you take time to watch when you probably should be watching something else, or that's not very, it's not very artsy fartsy or whatever. And films, you gotta sit and watch the whole thing. So I would more likely have like guilty pleasure TV shows, because you can just turn those on and stuff like that. But if I say films that I love that make me feel good and that I can watch over and over.
Yeah.
And they're not necessarily the best quality films, but they're going to be films that I watched in my childhood.
Okay.
And so my number one favorite childhood movie is always going to be Goonies.
That's right. It was you that taught me, that introduced me to Goonies. Okay, yeah.
And then we're going to have The Never Ending Story, right? Then we're going to have Gremlins, the first one.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We're going to have things like Firestarter with, what's her name? Drew Barrymore,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
We're going to have stuff like that. So those are not necessarily.
Wasn't that like they had a remake for that
They did.
recently? Okay, that's what that was.
I
Yeah.
think so. It's going to be movies like Weird Science. It's going to be movies like Revenge of the Nerds, you know.
Very classic films.
Yes. That's
Yes.
what movies
Yes.
like DC Cab, which when I watched later as an adult and as a person that's in the film and TV industry and story, it's got some really elements that's just like, oh, that didn't age well. But still, you know, these things are films that just make you feel good when you watch them, and you know they may not hold up to some cinematic standard, but they, you know, I watch them and I feel good, and so yes, that's what I would say.
Okay.
So I never thought that would be answer to that, but yeah, those are my guilty pleasure, my childhood films.
All right. So, do you have anything that you want to plug? I know you said earlier about game night.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Go to Tubi right now. It's streaming Game Night, and that's Night, N-I-T-E, okay? Check out Game Night on Tubi. And if you are interested in being a part of the next cycle of T3IP, you can send your information to info@1010talentacs.com. You're going to spell out 1010, so TENTENTALENTACS.com, or you can send me a DM on Instagram at Shamika Chronicles. I'm on Instagram at Shamika Chronicles. I'm on YouTube.com/Shamika Chronicles. You can get at me and let me know you're interested, and we'll reach out to you and let you know how to submit your application and resume and get you set up for an interview. But yeah.
And then don't forget that on Saturday she does her
You're hired.
she does her Saturday morning tap in where she reaches out to her audience and like I guess talk to everybody about the Saturday morning tap in.
T3IP, my work here. So yes, every Saturday morning we come together on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for Saturday Morning Tap-In, where we have uplifting conversations, we set intentions, and then we also do journaling. And so it's a really wonderful space on Saturday mornings. Saturday Morning Tap-Ins, it's a movement. It's a way for us to hold space, to be intentional about our day, and to add some positivity to it before we go about enjoying our weekend or preparing for the next week. So youtube.com/Shamika Chronicles, Instagram at Shamika Chronicles. Tune in every Saturday.
All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Spotify, where all the episodes of previous episodes will be. Come on back for the next episode. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out. But that's why I'm like